This is Francesca Evans of LymeOnline with the latest local news, sport, weather forecast and a roundup of what's on this weekend in the Lyme Regis area. Local MPs have been reacting to the resignation of Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Mr Johnson announced his resignation on Thursday after almost 60 ministers stood down from government roles, including Chancellor Rishi Sunak and Health Secretary Sajid Javid, amid a scandal surrounding former Chief Whip Chris Pincher. The PM intends to stay in office until a replacement is found, but West Dorset MP Chris Loader has said this cannot happen. Commenting on Twitter, he said the government cannot function without ministers in place, and he expected Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab to take over imminently whilst the leadership election takes place. It comes after Mr Loader spoke on Radio 4's Today show on Wednesday, saying he had lost faith in the Prime Minister.
Taken a civil servant to correct the record after 5 days. Now that's just not acceptable in my opinion, to ensure that the Prime Minister's office is getting the facts straight. Now I'm glad to see that some in Cabinet have acted accordingly, but now I think there is a majority in the party that want to see change. I personally have lost confidence in the Prime Minister now, and I'm very sorry to say that, but I think he does need to go, but I think if he chooses not to, I think the 1922 committee should act, and I certainly would support that approach in the forthcoming 1922 election.
Uplyme's new MP, Liberal Democrat Richard Ford, also called for Mr Johnson to stand down and, following his resignation announcement, said his legacy will continue to be felt long after he leaves Number 10. Mr Ford said Conservative MPs have spent months defending him against increasing scandals instead of focusing on the cost of living crisis and the crisis in our NHS. Voters will remember this. Mr Ford won a by-election for the Tiverton and Honiton constituency, which also includes Uplyme, Axminster and Seaton, at the end of June, overturning the Conservatives' majority of more than 24,000. He made his maiden speech in the House of Commons on Wednesday amid the unprecedented mass resignation of Conservative ministers, speaking about the urgent need for a new high school in Tiverton, the difficulties facing Devon farmers and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Lyme Regis and Chards' new Dorset councillor, Belinda Borden, has met with her counterpart from Axminster for the first time in a bid to improve cross-border cooperation. Green Party member Councillor Borden met with Conservative councillor Ian Hall, who represents neighbouring Axminster on both East Devon District Council and Devon County Council, as well as serving in the non-political role of Chair of the County Council. Among the issues discussed in the first of what is hoped to be a regular meeting, the pair discussed the withdrawal of Stagecoach's 9A bus between Seaton and Lyme Regis and sustainable travel options for the future. Local firm Axe Valley Mini Travel is now planning to launch a new service between the two towns, but this is not expected to run as regularly as the 9A. The two councillors also covered potential support from Dorset Council for the proposed pedestrian safety improvements around Crog Lane in Uplyme, and said they hoped future discussions would include the climate crisis, A35 safety between Morecambe Lake and Honiton, healthcare services including mental health provision, tourism and the economy. Town Crier Alan Vian has taken over as president of the Rotary Club of Lyme Regis for the coming year. Mr Vian took on the presidential chains from his predecessor Chris Buckingham at a celebratory evening held at Borough Farm Gardens near Dolwood last week, attended by fellow Rotary members, friends and supporters. As well as being the Town Crier of Lyme Regis, Mr Vian is known for his association to several charitable organisations in the town, most notably the Regatta and Carnival Committee. He and wife Lynn work tirelessly on the seafront throughout the summer season, voluntarily helping to ensure the town's events and festivals run smoothly. Mr Vian said he was greatly honoured to take on the role of president and was looking forward to Rotary events this year, which will include the spectacular Candles on the Cob on August 28th, raising funds for Cancer Research UK, the Red Cross COVID Support Initiative and local youth organisations. Lyme Regis Development Trust has appointed a familiar face to the town as its new CEO following the recent departure of Chris Tipping. David Tucker, former director of Lyme Regis Museum, has now taken the helm of Development Trust projects, which include running the Youth Club at the Hub, Lyme Bay Radio, the Community Workshop, Seaside Store, the Old Schoolhouse Community Cafe and many others. Mr Tucker takes over from Chris Tipping, who has moved to rural Scotland to run a small holding. Lyme and Lyme Regis retain their top spot in the Devon Cricket League Division C East, despite a below-par performance at lowly Exmouth, a fixture they would have expected to win. However, a number of fixtures were rain-affected, and the 6 points gained from this match kept them well on target for promotion for a second year in succession, with a 5-point lead over their nearest rivals, Braunton. With several players unavailable, Lyme fielded a weakened side at Exmouth, who had won only 2 games this season before this fixture. They won the toss and decided to field, and were set a target of 233, having claimed 5 of the home wickets, 2 taken by Tyler Wellman. In reply, Lyme had 182 runs on the board when stumps were drawn, with 9 batters back in the dressing room. Skipper Sam Farrow once again was top scorer on 88, a performance that won him a place on the Devon Cricket Honours Board. Tomorrow, Lyme travel to Tiverton to meet Heathcote, who occupy a mid-table position in Division C East. Lyme's T20 side, the Muffin Men, retained their dominance in the East Devon Bash competition with a comfortable win over Seaton, the winners of last season's trophy. Having gone nearly 2 years without a league game due to the COVID crisis, the youth section of Lyme Regis Football Club are experiencing a resurgence, with about 200 youngsters attending their recent presentation night. The youth section is looking for more under-15 players, and any Year 10 students looking to play football are invited to training, which takes place at the Anning Road playing field on Mondays from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Lyme and Lyme Regis Horticultural Society host their annual Summer Flower and Produce Fair on the King George playing field in Lyme on Saturday, opening to the public at 1 p.m. with a programme of live entertainment, stalls, refreshments and a dog show. The Nag's Head will be hosting live music both tonight and on Saturday night from 9 p.m, and on Sunday morning the annual Coast to Coast motorcycle run will set off from Lyme Regis at 10 a.m, with veteran, vintage and post-war classic bikes on display on the seafront ahead of the start time. Summer has certainly arrived in Lyme Regis, with wall-to-wall sunshine forecast throughout the weekend, light winds and high temperatures of 23 degrees. Thanks for watching LymeOnline's video news bulletins. You can stay up to date with the latest local news on our website. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for regular updates, and sign up to our free email newsletter to ensure you don't miss a thing. Have a great weekend.